So Season 5 is officially here, all the bells and whistles. Today we're breaking down everything that changed with Warzone's update, and there's honestly quite a lot that changed within Warzone in particular, independent of things like just your Battle Pass items and such. So as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. Out of the Season 5 content, what are you guys liking the most so far? Is there anything that you hoped would have come to Season 5? Whatever the case may be, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. Let's play this a little aggressive here. We usually say 1,000 likes. You guys have been crushing that. Let's aim for 2,000 likes here on this video. So do me a favor, if you enjoy it, drop a like down below. If you also are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Warzone, Cold War, anything COD related, especially going into Season 5 here. We have so much you don't want to miss. So that said, let's just jump right into it. So as always, we have those seasonal offerings to cover basics first. The most important to Warzone is probably that of the new EM2 assault rifle at tier 15 of the battle pass and the Tech 9 semi-auto submachine gun at tier 31. This of course is sprinkled in with a ton of other different content you can see throughout the battle pass being earnable throughout the season, including a bunch of new blueprints, all the way up to tier 100, capping off with the Gold Leaf Ultra Kitsune skin, the microchip Tech 9 blueprint, and a few other vehicle skins, but that's coming along as always either free or paid for, however you want to opt into it. Free, of course, you have access to select amounts of tiers, but the most important ones are the weapons. Those are always free, so don't sweat it if you don't want to get into the whole thing. Though, for the first time since the Battle Pass system as we know it was introduced within Modern Warfare, there actually is a sort of added bonus for buying the Battle Pass bundle. That being the legendary QB skin for Kitsune. That being bundled with the Battle Pass bundle for the first 2 weeks of Season 5, so it's not going to be there forever. That bundle, of course, coming along with the instant access to the Battle Pass, then 20 tier skips, which then gives you immediate access to the EM2 assault rifle as you pass by it at tier 15. And if you're on PlayStation, I'm pretty sure that it's that PlayStation bonus or whatever where you end up getting to tier 25 as a result, but pretty close to both weapons right off the bat. So that's the Battle Pass, entirely optional, but introduced with this seasonal update. Now, if you are planning to pick it up and you'd like to support the channel a little further in the content here, you can use creator code Espresso before picking it up, and it directly helps the channel out. Again, entirely optional, so don't feel pressure to do so, but if you do decide to, tweet me a picture. I'd love to shout out some of your generous support in upcoming videos. That said, additional new content here. Outside of the Battle Pass and the weapons, most of the seasonal stuff here to come is in the form of Cold War content, so that means your maps like Slums, Echelon, Showroom, new Prestige shop items, new Prestiges, new Zombies content and such, so that we're really not going to touch on too much. The focus I want to talk about here is Warzone. We talked about a lot of this stuff more so, though, outside of just showcasing gameplay of it. We talked basically all about that in Black Ops Cold War's update video last night, breaking that all down. So next, I want to transition to a bit of some major changes to Warzone. So let's talk about points of interest. Around the map, we end up seeing the theme for the season is that numbers broadcast. So with that, we end up seeing mobile broadcast stations around Verdansk. The patch notes say that these spawn in different locations per game, but the couple of times that I saw them in game, they were at the same location. So they may be static spawns, they may not be, but you'll notice them. You can't miss them, honestly, if you're somewhere near them. They're an armored truck with a giant broadcast antenna coming out of the back. Right now, they don't seem to do anything in particular, but I'm wondering if that is something that requires further activation, either game side or something in-game particular to the player. Right now it's unknown, but you can see these around the map. We see that the Gulag is brand new, this time modeled after Rush, introduced last season during the Reloaded update, following that DLC map model that we've seen in the past couple of Gulags so far, but incidentally only on remake maps. So kind of surprised that we didn't get to see something like Slums' fountain area with a few bit of extra bits of cover, given that this was introduced as of today's update, but who knows, maybe next season. The red doors have been adjusted as well, in which they continue to other locations outside of just those main rooms that we've seen. And what I mean by that is instead of teleporting to a particular cell or room where you're being brainwashed, you actually go to a corridor very reminiscent of what you saw in the campaign for Cold War, where there's a handful of different red doors to go through. And actually, this is where that leaked numbers audio comes into play. You can hear the doors talking to you, Stitch talking to you overhead, and each of these will take you to a different location. I would imagine this has something to do with an Easter egg, but again, nothing is for sure just yet, but we'll see where this leads. Then the final thing we see in terms of map and sort of Easter egg related perhaps stuff is in the patch notes, we saw that Raven mentioned something that extended upon the narrative, saying redacted. Redacted has gone off the grid, and reports suggest Redacted is doing Redacted in Verdansk. This is an unauthorized Redacted that could jeopardize our Redacted in discovering and stopping Stitch. Now, if you're no good at Mad Libs like I am, that's a whole lot of open possibilities that could lead to literally anything. But looks like we have a new mystery on our hands, maybe expanding upon or maybe resolved in the numbers event later this season, but Certainly interesting. Now, believe it or not, there actually still is quite a lot to talk about, but before we go any further, I want to take a second and let you know about my friends over at ZLeague. For those that love to watch Warzone tournaments, but aren't a big streamer or creator to get invited to these CDL team-hosted tournaments, ZLeague is the best public tournament platform. Whether you're new to the competitive scene or you've been playing since the game's launch, they've got a bit of everything for you. ZLeague is a skill-based Warzone platform that enables players to compete in free and paid tournaments against players of similar skill levels and only similar skill levels. With their custom ranking algorithms and custom anti-cheat system to catch and ban hackers, smurfs, and reverse boosters, everyone's got a chance at some prize money, as you'll only be going up against players of similar skill level. Now more than ever, it's a perfect time to check out ZLeague because registration is live for their August Showdown, an 11-day free-to-enter trios tournament from August 20th to August 30th, where you can play your games whenever you want with the top 3 game performances counting towards your score. You and your squad will be placed into divisions to compete for a piece of the $50,000 prize pool. Make sure you're quick though, registration completes on August 16th. If you're interested in learning more, check the link in the description below, and thanks again to ZLeague for sponsoring this video. But that said, lots still up on deck. The biggest of those things probably being new perks added into Warzone though. In Tier 3 we ended up seeing introduced was the Combat Scout perk, which for those who need a refresher, damaging an enemy will briefly highlight and automatically ping them for your teammates. Truthfully, I'm a little worried about this one. While the effects aren't too terribly long, do you know how much damage an average player will net a game, let alone a really good player? You're going to have a roaming oracle maybe at that point. Perhaps I'm jumping the gun here, overly cautious, whatever. It seems like this might get out of hand here pretty quickly, and especially because it's in Tier 3. The only effective perk I think you're really going to lose out on is Amped. So you're able to combine that with Ghost and others. That's quite a loadout here that you can end up putting on. But then in Tier 2 we have Tempered, which allows your armor plates to be air quote reinforced, as they say, which allows them to absorb 75 damage instead of 50. So no, this doesn't add an additional 25 points of health onto you, but instead it removes one plate from your person with the same effects, meaning that you effectively fully plate faster since you only need to apply 2 rather than 3, kind of like a speed loader for armor essentially, which is definitely cool. This I think would honestly be fine in Tier 3. I think if you switch those two around, if it were up to me, that'd be a perfect blend here, but I don't make the big bucks. Now, while perks have been added, we also saw a few perks adjusted. Cold-Blooded now makes you undetectable by AI targeting and thermal optics, while not triggering high alert and negates Combat Scout. So taking that same base build of the perk and adding a counter for Combat Scout after its addition now. And truthfully, this actually may be something worth considering on your loadout now, depending on how many people end up using Combat Scout. Imagine that though, the re-rise of the cold-blooded meta. I'd have to ask myself what season we're in again. But interestingly enough, High Alert was not mentioned in the patch notes by Raven to include the adjustment to counter Dead Silence, though I would imagine that's a mistake. I guess we'll see here as more time progresses and testing is done, but weapon tuning is another big thing that was up on deck here, or the chopping block, or the idea board, whatever you want to call it, but that's actually coming at a later date specified by Raven so far. So that'll be interesting, but the AMP-63 in the meantime did get a little bit of an adjustment where the 20-round magazine attachment got an increase to now be the 25-round mag. The 25-round mag was then increased to 30, the 20-round speed mag is now the 25-round speed mag, and the Salvo 23-round fast mag is now the 30-round fast mag. Final notes talking about weapons, the MG82 and the C58, if you missed those last season, they're now actually introduced here where you can unlock them organically. The MG82's challenge is using LMGs, kill 3 or more enemies without reloading in 15 different completed matches, and the C58 is using assault rifles, get a long shot kill in 15 different completed matches as well. So you gotta finish those matches out. Unfortunately, you can't back out after completing it for it to count. So that's going to be an interesting one here. As for some UI and accessibility changes, the armor box now has a new icon to better differentiate between the ammo and the armor box, which when I glance at it, not gonna lie, I often get those mixed up. So nice to see that this will be a better indicator for those quick at glances. There's also now a steady aim behavior toggle for controller and mouse and keyboard. We also then see on consoles only, there's a high res texture pack going out again. And finally, the playlist, we have traditional BR of solos, duos, trios, and quads, naturally. And then we have Rebirth, Mini Royale trios, and Resurgence quads, as well as Plunder, Blood Money quads. So that's the update for Season 5 here within Warzone, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's still on the horizon here with this, because that weapon tuning, really curious what they end up doing with that, how that's going to shake up the meta at all. So we'll see what happens with that, but for the time being, that's where we're at. Love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Is there anything in particular you guys are really liking so far to Season 5? Something you hoped would have come to Season 5? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Warzone, Cold War, Modern Warfare, anything Season 5 related, and of course, COD 2021. We're gearing up pretty close to that. If you're interested in any of that, hit the subscribe button. If you also want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Crack live on both those. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. Like I said, thanks so much for watching. My name has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.